Hello there. Welcome to the third video in the Jedi 101 series, where we'll be going over chapter 2 of my book, Your First Step into a Larger World, an Introduction to Walking the Jedi Path. Chapter 2 deals with the Pillars of Jedi Strength. So 5 years on, I still believe in the pillars. I still use the pillars. I'll talk about the origins and stuff after I read the chapter. So, without further ado, chapter 2, the Pillars of Jedi Strength. There are 3 pillars of Jedi strength: the Force, knowledge, and self-discipline. A Jedi of quality will have all 3 pillars in balance. Just as it takes 3 legs to make a tripod or to make a table stand, the 3 pillars support one another. If you want to be a Jedi, you must use the Force. In the context of real-life Jedi training, using the Force is the active process of inculcating the positive mental attributes that are associated with the mythical Jedi Knights. It is the cultivation of the attitudes present in a Jedi of quality. Among these attributes and attitudes is compassion and mindfulness. It is said that compassion is central to a Jedi's life, and we can use the Force to cultivate compassion and compassionate actions in our lives. I find that compassionate actions are the most worthwhile actions in nearly any situation. Along with compassion, we can use the Force to actively cultivate mindfulness within ourselves, to help us regain a balanced nature when things have gone off kilter. What is important with our relationship to what we see as the Force is that using it is not a passive exercise. It is something we engage in willfully, instead of just expecting it to happen on its own. Knowledge is the central pillar, and likewise knowledge is central to a Jedi's life. In the context of the Jedi Path, gaining knowledge is the act of removing ignorance. I have found that it is important to realize my limitations of my knowledge, as well as the understanding that I might be mistaken about a great number of things. A Jedi seeking knowledge must have an open mind and a willingness to learn, including learning from one's mistakes. We need to cultivate an awareness of what we know and an awareness of what we do not. When we find a gap in our knowledge or new evidence brings to light a mistaken conclusion, we must address this. Therefore, the life of a Jedi is one of constant learning and constant self-improvement. This takes diligent study and examination, which leads us to the third pillar. Self-discipline is vital both to the Jedi Path as well as the practice of the other 2 pillars. Jedi of quality do not seek to control others, but to be a master of one's self. Without self-discipline, you will not get far in your training. In fact, I would say you would not be able to train at all without it. If you are sincere in your pursuit to be a Jedi, no master, no mentor can motivate you to do the hard but worthwhile work. You must be able to find it within yourself to dedicate yourself to the path of becoming a Jedi of quality. Related to the practice of self-discipline is the concept of personal responsibility. Ultimately, you are responsible for your own fate, determined by the decisions you have made and the circumstances you find yourself in. A Jedi does not blame others for shortcomings and failures, and uses such setbacks as a learning experience. A self-disciplined Jedi will be industrious and not ruled by their emotions. I want to reiterate how important it is for a Jedi to utilize all three pillars if they want to be a Jedi of quality. Two without the other is not enough. For example, if we do not have self-discipline, then we will not have the drive to seek out and acquire the knowledge necessary to the path, or have the stick-to-it attitude to use the Force. If we remain without knowledge, then we will not know the significance of self-discipline or know the tools to apply it, nor would we have knowledge, nor would we have, without knowledge, be able to direct our minds when we use the Force as to the attributes we wish to inculcate. And finally, without the Force, one cannot be a Jedi no matter how much self-discipline and knowledge you have. As you begin walking the Jedi Path, and throughout your career as a Jedi, you will find that the Pillars of Jedi Strength will support you in your training and in applying Jedi philosophy in your day-to-day life. It is a stable foundation on which to build your life as a Jedi. Not only will it build you up, it will hold you up as you venture out into the larger world. Okay. That's a short chapter. 5 years on, what would I change? Not much. There are those who think you could be a Jedi without the Force, and you don't have to do things my way, but this is the way I've experienced the Jedi Path, that the Force is part of it, and so that's how I do it. I wrote a book from my experience, so that's how that chapter fell out, how it went. So the origins of the pillars. This is not an invention from me. It originally came from role-playing material, from licensed role-playing games about how to role-play a Jedi character. It also later appeared in the book Jedi Path. There was a chapter on the pillars. So it's strongly associated with the fiction, with its origins are in the fictional world, but I have found that it has benefit and utility, that it's applicable to how I walk the Jedi Path, and so I use it. I do a bit of, well, not a bit, I do quite a lot of Jedi role-playing in Second Life, and I use the role-play kind of as a test bed for Jedi philosophy, where I can, in a fantasy setting, explore applications of Jedi philosophy and have it be consequence free. I'm not going to ruin anyone's life by pretending to be a space wizard in a fantasy setting when we're all playing make-believe. This is not the case in real life. This is why you have to have a strong moral and ethical center if you're going to be a Jedi. And I think the pillars kind of set that up. So I've explored the pillars in a role-play fantasy setting, and they work out. They work out good. It's a good foundation for being a Jedi. Well, this is going to be a short video, I guess. Not much more to say about the pillars. I thank my 24 subscribers for this new channel. I appreciate the subscribes and the views and the comments so much, but don't feel obligated. You have to do any of that. Yeah, okay. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you next video.